when Ariel and I got clear on where we were going, not only did it make our relationship better, we also made so much more money after that, so much more quickly. Why? Because when you and your partner could be aligned and you're going in the same direction, you're able to accomplish so much more than any solopreneur could ever even dream of.
If you have a value of valuing family time or quality time with family, if that's something that's very important to you as a couple, and then you build a business that requires you to travel like 265 out of the 365 days of the year where you're away from your family, that may cause a little bit of a conflict. So it's just important to start here, start with the foundation so that the business and the lifestyle that you're building is actually fulfilling for both of you.
How cool would it feel to wake up every single day and be fully on the same page with your partner on the direction of your business and the decisions required to get you where you both want to go? Wouldn't that feel cool? Wouldn't it feel good to be unified, going in the same direction, firing in the same way, and feeling like you're using all of the strengths that you have, partnering with your significant other to co-create the dream lifestyle that you both feel called to create? Yeah. Well, what we're here to tell you today is that that is not just a fantasy. That is not just something that is a pipe dream. That is actually a tangible reality for so many entrepreneur couples in this community. Yeah. And what we're going to do today is we're going to walk you through an exercise to make that a reality. And here's why I say this. We have the opportunity of speaking with so many entrepreneur couples from all over the world who have businesses across a variety of different industries and revenue levels. But one thing remains very constant. Out of thousands of conversations with entrepreneur couples, the majority of couples that we talk to ask this one single question, which is, how can we get on the same page together in our business? Because here's the thing. If you have ever been in a place where you don't feel like you're aligned, your partner may feel disengaged and maybe not super excited about the business. Yeah. Maybe you feel misaligned and disconnected as a couple because you both are operating in the business, but you're not fully clear or on the same page of where you're going.
Or it feels like you're operating in two separate silos.
Oh my gosh, we see that all the time. Or maybe you're creating a business and, for the lack of better terms, you are successful, but you just don't enjoy it. Yeah. Maybe you enjoy it or your partner doesn't, or vice versa. All of this is a symptom of a deeper thing. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to create the deeper thing. The deeper thing is what we call a unified vision. Because when you do this, what it's going to allow you to do is get crystal clear on, number one, the dream lifestyle you want to create. Number two, the magic revenue number that's going to make that dream lifestyle a reality. And number three, clarity on the roles that you and your significant other bring to the table to contribute towards that life you want to create. Now, I think what's important here is to start by defining what a unified vision is and how this helps you and your partner get on the same page. A unified vision is essentially a documentation of the type of lifestyle that you want to co-create, right? So if you think about, a dream vacation that you and your partner want to go on, there are a couple key details that you're going to want to know, right? If you and your partner are planning a dream vacation, you want to know, number one, where are we actually going?
That might be helpful.
Probably. That's my guess. Where are we going? How do you get there? How much money do we need to make that vacation a reality? Yeah. So if you're planning a dream vacation, how many of you agree you're going to want to know the answer to those questions, right? Well, the same is true when you are creating your dream lifestyle as a couple. You need to know, where are we going? How do you get there? And how much money do we need to make that a reality? Yeah. But the problem is that for so many entrepreneur couples, they fall into either one of two camps. Either camp number one, we see couples that have no vision at all. Yeah. No vision. There is no unifying vision. These are basically the people that are working every single day and probably successful, but there's really no end to what they're creating. There's no destination. Yeah. This is essentially like traveling with nowhere to actually get to.
Or they've been so head down in the work for so long that they've forgotten what the vision actually is and where they're actually headed.
Right. And honestly, if you ask business owners right now if they could define their vision for their life, there probably are going to be a lot of people that don't have one. And a lot of couples fall into this too. And it creates a lot of resentment beneath the surface that also shows up in their relationship. Yeah. That is just one camp, though. There's another camp that's very popular for entrepreneur couples, and that is the camp of die vision. So you either have no vision or you have die vision. What is die vision, Ariel?
Division is, if you think of, what's the word? Is it etymology?
Yeah.
The etymology of the word di means two, right?
Mhm.
Two visions. So division is two visions, right? So di actually means you have two visions versus one.
Mm-hmm. And when you have two visions in one household, it creates division.
Division.
This creates division or division between you and your partner on so many areas: where you're going, how you're going to get there, where the money is being spent, how you allocate your time. And this division creates a lot of tension. This is where Ariel and I were in the early stages of our entrepreneurship journey, where we both had a differing idea of what success looks like in our life. And just to normalize this, when Ariel and I were first growing our businesses, we were in the division camp massively.
Yes, we were.
Ariel had her business separately, and I had my business separately. I had a digital marketing consulting business. We were helping companies grow and scale by tens of millions of dollars using paid media as well as email marketing and funnel strategy. Ariel had a coaching business helping entrepreneur women use organic marketing, which is no paid ads, to grow six-figure businesses from home. So we were both in the marketing space, but we had separate businesses and we had separate visions of what a success in our life would look like. So right after we got married, we went into what we call the anti-honeymoon stage, where we were constantly competing with ourselves over which vision would rule out. And how that bled over into our relationship was we would constantly argue about whose time was more valuable or less valuable to attend to the average household tasks like cooking, cleaning, errands, etc. And I just want to ask you this question. When you're in a position where you have one vision of success and your partner has a different vision of success, what is the answer? That was what we were trying to figure out early on in our couplepreneurship journey. And I remember the answer to this question came from meeting with a coach of ours. This is one of the reasons why we were so adamant about finding a coach, because I remember being on a Zoom call with a coach who asked this question, and I want to ask it to you as well. If you both succeeded based on your definition of success, how successful would you truly be? So let me ask it a different way. If you succeed in your vision and your partner succeeds in their vision, what happens to your marriage? What happens to your relationship? And this hit home for me at the time, because what this illuminated for me was the fact that my version of success, my vision, was to just make enough money to have the freedom to travel the world, play music, and just be gone all the time. Ariel's vision was to make enough money to buy a house and stay home all the time. So how many of you guys see a little bit of a discrepancy between vision A, traveling all the time, and vision B, staying home all the time? That's where Ariel and I were. So if Ariel was successful in her vision, that would destroy my vision. If I was successful in my vision, it would destroy her vision. And what would happen to our relationship if our versions of success were completely opposite from each other? Probably not good things. And that is the position that so many entrepreneur couples find themselves in today. Either you haven't articulated it between the two of you, or if you really play the movie forward, your version of success and your partner's versions of success compete with one another. We don't want to stay there, though. So what do you do from here? Well, what Ariel and I decided to do after we figured out this realization is we went to the beach and we did what we call a vision date. Now, this word has since become very popular since we have taught this to so many other entrepreneur couples who have followed in the footsteps of success. But here's what we did. We grabbed Chipotle, like you do, because guac is our love language. We went to the beach and we asked ourselves this one question. How can we both get what we want? How can we create a life and a business that gives you what you want and me what I want without either one of us compromising what matters to us most? And I want to just challenge everybody who's listening to this. The very fact that you're an entrepreneur means that you have the creative capacity to ask this question and solve this problem.
Be resourceful.
How can you both get what you want? So Ariel and I created at the beach over some chips and guac a lifestyle plan, a business plan, and a relationship plan that gave us what we both want. A lifestyle where I can be out traveling during certain times and Ariel could be at home at certain times. A lifestyle that allows the business to give us the freedom and the vacations and the free time and presence with each other that we desired. And all of it was possible. We just never asked that question until that day. And maybe for you listening, today's the day where you ask that question with your significant other.
Yeah.
How can we both get what we want? When we did this, let me tell you guys, we came back from that beach like a different couple.
Yeah.
We were so unified. We were so excited. And all of that subconscious tension that was kind of filling up the room and kind of clouding our vision just completely dissipated, because there was no longer any subconscious sabotage towards me being successful or Ariel being successful, because we were both fully aligned on exactly where we were going. And we knew that success for me didn't mean failure for you, and vice versa.
Yep.
And that's what we want you guys to do as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through just a simple 3-step process with you for you to implement the same process that Ariel and I did at the beach. We've taught this to so many entrepreneur couples, and we've had so many people come up to us and say that just this alone, just getting clear on where we're going in our business, has helped their relationship tremendously. And here's what you might also find. When Ariel and I got clear on where we were going, not only did it make our relationship better, we also made so much more money after that, so much more quickly. Why? Because when you and your partner could be aligned and you're going in the same direction, you're able to accomplish so much more than any solopreneur could ever even dream of. Yeah. And that's the superpower you get to tap in today with a unified vision. So there's a 3-part framework that we have created. And part 1 of that framework is as follows. Ariel, ready for that curtain?
Yeah, if you don't know what this is the curtain. So like Kyle's going to reveal it. Ready?
Like behind curtain number 1.
The first part is to identify your shared values as a couple. Now, when we say share values, what we mean is many people have no idea what they actually want, or they think they want certain things, but they've just been passed down to them through other people. Yep. For example, a lot of people think that they want, a $10 million business because they saw somebody on social media that has a $10 million business. Yep. Or they think that they want a certain family path because it's the family path that they experienced, growing up, and it's what they're familiar with, right? So a lot of people have their goals and their vision handed down to them rather than defining it based on what's actually important for them. Mm-hmm. So what we encourage couples to do is to define what are the things that they uniquely value, and then use those things to base your vision off of.
Yes.
Right? Versus just basing your vision off of what you think you should do. Right? Mm-hmm. So when we talk about values, what we mean is aspects of life that you find important and the things that you truly want to prioritize. So for example, when Kyle and I were doing this exercise, when we looked at, creating a unified vision between the two of us, the first thing we wanted to do was figure out what actually matters to us. If we're going to make money, why are we making money?
Right.
Why does it matter?
Right.
And what are we creating from that? And so for us, what we did is we each individually decided on or defined what are our individual values, and then where do those individual values overlap to create shared values, the things that we share together that we want to make sure are encompassed in our unique vision as a couple. So for example, some of my values individually were contribution. I want to feel like I'm contributing to the world in a meaningful way. Growth. I'm very growth minded. I want to continuously grow in who I am and the person I'm becoming. And authenticity. Authenticity meaning, I don't want to just do what everybody else is doing. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I feel called to do, and I'm very authentic to myself. Yeah. Right. So those are my values. Kyle's values, on the other hand, were growth. He's also very growth minded. Influence, because he wants to have a very positive influence on the people that are around him, as well as freedom, the ability to do what he wants in a way that he doesn't feel restricted or chained to anything. And so those were our individual values. And we were like, okay, great. So obviously we want those individual values to be represented in the life that we're creating. But more specifically, what are the things that together we're working towards? What are those shared values that we want to create? And for us, we looked at where the overlap was. So for us, it was growth, right? Growth was an overlap, easy overlap between the two of us. Influence was another one because I had contribution, Kyle had influence. And we were like, okay, to us, that just means having a positive influence on the people around us. And then contribution as well in terms of contributing to the world in a meaningful way through our business and as well as the other passions that we have in life. So with these shared values, what we were able to do is determine, okay, these are the things that we want to make sure we encompass into our shared vision.
Yeah. Now, a couple things I want to add to this.
Yes.
Anybody listening here, have you ever heard the quote that says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure? Have you ever heard that quote? If not, it's a great one to just make sure that you keep at the top of your mind. And that quote essentially is the prism and is the decision-making factor for why we started with creating shared values. Because when we talk about values, we are talking about the things in life that are meaningful to you and things that bring you fulfillment. So if in order to determine what type of dream lifestyle or dream business will give us what is fulfilling in our life, we have to start with the values. Now, of course, there are more than three. Ariel talked about her top three. I talked about my top three. And she talked about how we combine them into our top three. Of course, there are more values than just this. But a good exercise for you and your partner is to write down what your values are, narrow them down to a top three, and have your partner do the same, and then see where those overlap. And if you and your partner can come up with a top three list of your top three values that you both share, what that does is that gives you almost like a lens, like you're putting on new glasses that you can look through to decide what type of lifestyle business is going to give you the most fulfillment in your life.
If you have a value of valuing family time or quality time with family, if that's something that's very important to you as a couple, and then you build a business that requires you to travel like 265 out of the 365 days of the year where you're away from your family, that may cause a little bit of a conflict. So it's just important to start here, start with the foundation so that the business and the lifestyle that you're building is actually fulfilling for both of you.
Yeah. And just to give you a little bit of inspiration, there are clients that we've worked with who have told us that just figuring out their shared values, that was kind of like the key that unlocked so much bliss in their working dynamic. So Isaac and Candace, I remember they were a couple that came to work with us and they just went through that part of the exercise and they got on a call with us and they were like, oh my gosh, Kyle and Ariel, like figuring that out has helped change our perception and the paradigm at which we approach our working dynamic together. And it was at that time amazing. It was like a light bulb went off, a breakthrough happened, and they were feeling more aligned than ever before. So the same is true for you. But here's what we want to do. We want to give you the opportunity to start this right now. What type of values do you and your significant other share? You probably already know some values. Maybe you both value freedom. Maybe you both value safety. Maybe you both value family. Maybe you both value faith. Maybe you both value, what are some other values?
Fun. Maybe you both want to have fun. Maybe you both value adventure, right?
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because maybe you and your partner, like fun is like at the top of the list. That's very, very important for you to know. Because basically these shared values create a prism for you to use to make decisions in the future. It is the new lens. Because how many of you guys would agree that using values as your decision-making framework is going to allow you to have a better chance of creating a business and lifestyle that brings fulfillment to you? So step one, decide what your shared values are as a couple. What is step two behind curtain number two?
Step two is to identify that dream lifestyle as a couple. So again, if you are building a business that you want to allow you to travel all of the time and your partner is building a business that allows them to stay home all the time, there may be some conflict, right? So there has to be some alignment between the two of you of what the dream lifestyle actually looks like, hopefully based on your values, right? So with that said, what we want to do is map out what that lifestyle looks like and then build the business around it.
Yes.
Versus the opposite of what most people do is they build the business and they try to like fit the lifestyle into it and they can't figure out why they feel extremely unbalanced. It's because you have to start with the lifestyle first. Okay. So when it comes to us, like our example, when we were at the beach that day, we decided that we wanted to build an online business that allows Kyle to travel and to play music when he wants to, but also allows us to be home, to live in a warm, sunny climate, which just so happened to be Florida, sunny South Florida, which is where we live, as well as open up the opportunities for different projects that we're very passionate about. So we wanted a business that gave us the freedom as well as the income to be able to do the other things that we want while also pursuing a business that we loved. Right. So that's kind of what that vision looked like for us in terms of our lifestyle. What is it for you?
And what's so crazy is we are living in the lifestyle that we decided for ourselves. We live it out every single day. So if you get nothing else out of this, let us and so many of the entrepreneur couples we have the opportunity to coach be an example to you that literally whatever you can think, God willing, it's possible for you to create.
Yes.
So how can we create a very clear vision of the type of lifestyle we want to create?
Yeah. Well, what we want to do is just kind of walk through a brief visualization to help kind of get into this mode. Yeah. And let's get back into the vision of what we're actually creating. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do, as long as you're not driving, go ahead and just close your eyes for a minute. And just imagine, what's that ideal location that you want to live, right? Get into that dream lifestyle. What does it look like? Where are you? What's the location that you're in? Is it a warm climate, a cold climate, a specific state? What type of home are you living in that place? What does your home look like? Is it a big white house with pillars? Is it, a stucco home in the South? What does that look like for you? And what does the day-to-day look like? Like, what type of car are you driving? What does your business look like? When you wake up in the morning, what does it look like to get out of bed, get ready for the day, and then walk into your office or walk into your business? What type of offers do you have? What types of customers are you working with? How much are you personally interacting with those customers? What size of team do you have? And ultimately, how much time are you spending in the business versus maybe doing other things that you love? And what are those other things that you love? What activities are you doing just for fun? Maybe as an individual, maybe you have some hobbies that you love, some things that you just would love to do again. What are those activities that you'd love to do as a couple? Or maybe as a family? What types of vacations are you taking? Or how often are you traveling? And how are you investing your money? Right? How are you investing the funds that come in? Are you investing them into creating more wealth? Are you investing them? Are you giving back? Are there certain charities, causes that you've always wanted to give to or give more to that you're able to do now? And what does your ideal daily schedule look like? When you wrap up the day at the end of the day, what did that day look like prior? What was your schedule? What were you filling your time with? And did it have the things that were most important to you in it? And when you lay your head down at night, what are you proud of from that day? Maybe you're proud of the lifestyle that you created. Maybe you look at your partner and you're proud that you got somebody like them, whatever it is. What are you proud of? What are you grateful for as you lay your head down to go to sleep that night? And just sit in that for a moment. What does it feel like to have created the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of? And once you feel like you've captured it a little bit, go ahead and open your eyes. Awesome.
Now, here's what I'm going to say. For some of you, what Ariel just did might feel like oil on water. If you're anything like how we are, which is very busy, you're buried in tasks, you have so many things to do. And the idea of taking a second to stop and think about what you actually want feels nearly impossible. And if you feel that way, we understand exactly how that feels. That's how Ariel and I felt even before we did this unified vision exercise. But here's the thing. If you give yourself the gift of being able to dream again and remind yourself of what's possible, that is going to be the compass that guides you forward through the rest of this year and into the next year as well as a couple. And it's not just possible because we say it's possible. It's possible because we have led so many entrepreneur couples through a similar exercise. And we have clients who just recently have told us that they are making plans to move to their dream locations. We had one couple that is inside of our coaching program, and they recently told us that they wanted to move down to Florida. So we are actively making a plan for them to transition their business down to Florida, which is extremely exciting. We also have a couple who launched a brand new offer, just crossed 6 figures in revenue for the brand new offer within just a few months. And they told us that they are now planning to move to Cabo, which is super exciting. And these are just 2 examples out of many inside of our community of couples who have taken this and are making it a reality. Now, what we just covered is step 1 of creating a unified vision, which is to identify your shared values as a couple. We just did step 2, which is to identify your dream lifestyle as a couple. But now that leads us to step 3. Step 3 is what, Ariel?
Give me my curtain.
Curtain time. Whoosh.
Step 3 is to identify your magic numbers. Kyle, what do we mean by magic number?
So a magic number is essentially the amount of monthly revenue that you want to generate in your business to make whatever dream you just visualized a reality. The problem with most entrepreneurs is that a lot of people get started and they start making a lot of money, but at a certain point, money doesn't really motivate anymore. Because when you start off in business, you are motivated to just not have to look at a single bill in your life and not care. You can go to the gas pump, fill up your car and not care at all. You can go to any restaurant you want and order whatever you want, and you don't even know what the prices are. You can go to any mall or any store that you want, and then you just pay for whatever you want, and you just don't care how much it costs. Once you get to that position, though, then what? I remember when Ariel and I were early on in our 20s and we were making more money as a couple than our family combined, we were kind of weirded out because you get to a certain point where you reach all of those goals, you can buy whatever you want, but then it just doesn't matter. So then what is the motivation at all to grow a business? Well, the answer is that the motivation to grow beyond that is understanding what your magic number is to make everything in your life, not just the dream lifestyle, but the dream of how much you want to give, how much you want to contribute, how many people you want to hire. All of that coincides to creating a magic number. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through a very simple step-by-step process to help you identify specifically what your magic number is. Now, I remember when we had one of our mentors do this, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So I want to invite you guys to do this as well. Here's what you could do to figure this out very, very quickly. What our mentor had us do was basically take a piece of paper and divide it down the middle. And on one side of that piece of paper, we wrote out different categories of life. So we wrote out mortgage, cars, food, education, vacation, giving, investing, house management, fun, and basically all of the different categories that we know we are going to spend money on, or that are in our dream lifestyle, we are going to have to put a budget in place for.
Yes.
In our dream world, how much does that mortgage cost?
Yep.
How much do our cars cost? How much do we spend on food per month or going out to dinner or restaurants with our family? How much are we going to be spending on education, coaching, masterminds, etc.? How much are we going to budget each month for vacation, or just budget each quarter for vacation?
Yep.
How much are we going to budget towards giving? Now, this is a big one. Life is not just about maximizing your own potential. It's about how maximizing your potential can impact those that you're called to serve. That's what we believe. Because again, to quote Tony Robbins, life comes down to growing and giving. So if you want to feel fulfilled in life, it's probably going to come on the other side of growth and giving.
Yeah.
So for us, we determined very, very early on that we want to at least take 10% of our revenue and dedicate it towards tithing towards church. That's at the bare minimum. That's what we're going to do at the bare minimum. And for us, like when we did this dream lifestyle, it had us spending $100,000 per month. That is the goal, right? And
in giving,
just straight giving. Now, let me ask you guys this. If you're spending $100,000 a month and you're giving that out, can you see how impactful the success of your business truly is to not just you, not just your team, not just your clients, but all of the people around you? A lot of times, especially in Western society or just in the world in general, it's very popular notion for the 1% to be demonized. But when you really look at how most of the charities and nonprofits are funded, outside of maybe some nefarious needs for PR and stuff, it comes from the top 1%. What this all means to you is that the more money you make, the more you can give. So we looked at like, how much do we want to give per month? How much do we want to invest per month? How much do we want to spend on help around the house? How much do we want to spend on having fun? We took all these categories and we wrote out the monthly cost for every single one of these categories for our dream lifestyle.
Yeah. And if you don't know the monthly cost, go look it up.
Yep.
So meaning like what we did was we found a home online that was like our perfect dream house. And we looked at what is the mortgage for that house.
Yep.
And same with cars. We looked up cars. Like what are, these are the ideal cars that we would want to drive. What would a typical payment on those look like? Or if we were to buy them outright, what would that look like?
Yep.
So go look up those things if you don't know what they are offhand.
However, we can't just stop there, because once you figure out how much it costs to live your dream lifestyle, we have to figure out what revenue number is going to give you the income that you want. How many of you guys know that there's a stark difference between income and revenue? We all know this, right? We all know this. We all know this. But what we want to do is we want to give you a simple math equation to make it simple for you to create a magic revenue number that you target for your business per month. Here's the magic number. You take whatever your monthly income is that you desire, and you multiply that number by 3. So for the sake of math, let's say Ariel and I want to have an income of $400,000 per month. All we have to do is take that number and multiply that number by 3 in order to get our target revenue month in business.
Yeah.
Now, Ariel, why do we multiply that number by 3?
So the reason we multiply it by 3, now to be fair, typically for most online businesses who operate online, your total revenue divides up between team and tech, right? So team and the technology that you need to maybe put some automation in place in your business, taxes, which hopefully is not a third of your income entirely. Hopefully you have a good CPA, but taxes, as well as take home. So team and tech, taxes, and take home is typically what we would divide the total revenue by. And that take home is the take home amount that you take home as like your personal income. Now, again, that means that you're taking home approximately 30% of the total revenue. Maybe slightly different for you. If you know what your profit percentage is from your revenue, then maybe you can adjust accordingly. But for a lot of online businesses, if you multiply whatever your monthly income target is by 3, that'll give you your total monthly revenue that you're aiming for.
That's right. Now, I'll also say that we have couples in our community that are not just doing 6 figures a month. We also had a couple that I worked with last year.
Yep.
Man, we were able to scale their company to $2 million a month. And they had a webinar funnel that we were doing. And we're happy to talk about the different advertising strategies and things that we did in order to make that a reality. Yep. But here's the main point for everybody listening. The main point is that whatever number that is for you, there are so many people already doing it. And if one can, so can many, and so can you. Now, why can I say that with so much confidence? I've not only seen it, I just know that nobody else is God, and therefore nobody else could put a limit on your potential. That's how I know. You know, if you feel like it is your calling to grow a business and you feel like 300 grand is your number, there's nothing stopping you from making that a reality. It's just time and skill and putting in the reps to make it happen. And one day you'll be looking back and be like, 300 grand, that's it?
Yeah.
We could do way better than this. So hopefully that's encouraging for anybody listening here. All right. Anything else you want to say to that?
Nope. All good.
Wonderful. All right. So just to recap what we covered today. We covered how to go through the process of creating a unified vision between you and your partner. It starts with step 1, identifying your shared values as a couple. Step 2, identifying your dream lifestyle and what that looks like as a couple. And step 3, determining what your magic number is to make that lifestyle a reality. If there's a very specific vision that came to mind today, that vision is there for a reason. It's not just there just to flippantly fantasize. That vision is there to actualize. Take the steps, create a unified vision, get you and your partner on the same page. And if there's anything we could do to help you in that process, just reach out to us and we are here to support you. That being said, thank you guys for being role models in the world, proving and showing that you don't have to choose between having a successful and thriving business or a successful and thriving relationship. You can have both.